Hey, what's up, IE Sports Radio family? How you doing? It's Welcome to Fourth and Fun. I'm your host, Glen Ritter. Looking forward to having a great show with you guys tonight. Got a couple of the primetime players on the station joining me tonight. First, we've got our usual um, contestant here, my boy Josh. Same last name, but uh, not related at all. But anyway, just he seems to always have time on Thursday nights to join me. How are you doing, Josh?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Oh, fantastic! Thanks for coming back. See if we can have a three-peat on the scoring here. So, but up against you is one of our kings of the station, Taryn Rodriguez. Taryn, how are you doing tonight?
Doing good, Glenn. Thank you for having me. Happy to make my debut when
Awesome.
it comes to Fourth and Fun, and hopefully I won't be too bad against Josh.
Oh no, it's all good. We have a lot of fun. I have some ideas and kind of a script, but we kind of free flow a little bit with everything here. So, um, first of all, before we get too far into it, Josh, tell everybody a little bit about yourself, what teams you cover, and any big news that you might have going on here coming up.
So first of all, you can probably call me the Woody Page of Fourth and Fun. So we're working on that, trying to build up that network. If you watched Around the Horn back in the day, no, but I am the eclectic fan of the group. So I don't follow a region; I follow random teams. So I'm a Dolphins fan, a Phoenix Suns fan, Toronto Blue Jays fan, first place Toronto Blue Jays, Florida Panthers, two-time Stanley Cup champion fan, Oregon Ducks. For football and for college basketball, I'm a Tar Heels fan. So I'm kind of all over the place. But you can find me at Josh Ritter 13 on X and Josh.Ritter 57 on TikTok because I'm working on building that. And I'm also going to be taking over the Friday weekend preview show here starting in September. So I'm excited to do that here on IA Sports Radio. So I'm kind of all over the place.
Awesome, fantastic. Usually when somebody says that they're a fan of a lot of teams, it's always the perennial winners. Like I met one guy
Yeah.
I met him in Dallas, Texas, quite a number of years ago. He was a Cowboys fan, he was a Celtics fan, and and a Yankees fan.
Yeah.
Like, oh, okay. Well, yeah, just
that is not my experience.
Not surprising there.
Yeah, no, but that's what's awesome. But those teams are now winning. Obviously because you're supporting him, Josh. Right? That's the reason why the Florida
100%.
Panthers are so dominant. Yeah, got it.
Yeah.
You got to take the credit there. How about you, Darren? How can what do you do here at the IE Sports Radio station?
So I cover all the SoCal teams, pretty much like the Chargers, Rams, Lakers, Clippers, Galaxy, LAFC, and so on and so forth. The Dodgers, Angels, Padres. I also cover volleyball. I'm the host of Set Point, which goes live every Monday. And I guess a quick plug, this upcoming Monday is going to be the season 6 finale of Set Point. But you can follow me on X, formerly known as Twitter, at Taryn Rodriguez1, at TERAN, and then Rodriguez, and then the number 1. You could also follow Set Point on social media at set_point IE on X, and on Instagram at set_point IESR. And you can also follow IESR_SoCal for all things SoCal. Need to pretty much get back on the ball when it comes to that.
All right. Yeah. Sorry to hear about Rashawn Slater. That as a Chargers fan, I read about that today with his injury, and yeah, that is not good. Hopefully, he recovers completely and is back to normal next year, because that's huge for the Chargers and to protect Justin Herbert's.
Oh yeah.
Any ideas who
for left tackles?
Yeah, who's the backup right now? Do you have anybody in camp that?
I am not sure. It might be Trey Pipkins.
Okay, I'll have to do some research on him because I don't know a whole lot about him.
Yeah, so. He's not all that known.
Yeah, well, and that's usually what is happening is teams find.
Quick prediction: the starting tackle that replaces him isn't on the roster right now. I
Who's
bet you.
that?
I bet you they'll find some. They'll trade for someone in the next 4
Yeah.
weeks. That's my guess.
That's
Yep.
probably the case. All right. Brian's tuning in. Thanks for tuning in. Yeah. It's good to see some new faces. Hey, Taryn's a new face here on the show. He's he hasn't been on yet, so we always seem to have somebody else to take on Josh every single week. But thanks for tuning in, Brian. I think we've got some fun. We're going to talk some. We're going to talk a little bit of baseball. We'll talk some WNBA. Got some fun things going on, or interesting things going on there today. We'll talk some baseball. We'll talk a little bit of the WNBA trade deadline was today. We'll chat a little bit about that, and then obviously some preseason games are starting to kick off right now too. So we'll kind of chat and go through some of those things. But let's start out with some little trivia questions here. So first off, and actually here, why don't I have you do this? If you know the answer to the question, I just want you to shout out your name. That'll be your buzzer. And then we can have one person chime in at a time with their answers. So, all right, first question. Who nearly no-hit the Mets only to have it broken up in the 9th by a Juan Soto homer? It was just this week. Any ideas? Oh, I thought it would be a bigger deal. I'll give you a
I'm
hint.
stumped.
He plays for the Cleveland Guardians.
Oh, the team. Gosh,
No, the pitcher. Who is the pitcher for the Guardians?
I don't know.
Okay.
Sorry.
No idea. Sorry.
All right.
I'm out.
I'm not going to use my laptop and cheat.
All right. So it was actually Gavin Williams. He had the no-hitter going into the 9th, and then Juan Soto broke up the no-hitter with a home run. So
I got to tell you, I didn't even hear about that. That's kind of shocking, actually.
Right. I was kind of surprised when I saw that. So a lot of times, some of these questions will be a little bit more under the radar things. So okay. How about this one? Which team scored 20 runs recently to complete the sweep of the series?
Josh. 45-6, baby. Toronto Blue Jays, 45-6 over a 3-game sweep of the Colorado Rockies. Let's go.
I had a feeling
and they scored 8 runs in the 9th when they were already up 12-1. It was hilarious.
All right. Yes. Great job. Yeah. For you, Josh. Let's see. Oh, Larry B is on here as well. Cool. Thanks for tuning in, Larry. All right. Next question. Okay. So this one's going to be probably not just a simple answer. So I'll have you guys both chime in on some of your thoughts. And that is with the WNBA trade deadline today, which trade this week will have the biggest impact on the playoffs this season? And the 3 kind of major ones there was a trade between the Suns and the Mystics that took place today, which was, let me go to that. So the Mystics traded away Aaliyah Edwards to the Connecticut Sun, and the Mystics got J.C. Sheldon and the rights for a first-round pick swap in 2026. That's one option. The Mystics also made another trade, this time with the Seattle Storm, where they traded the Storm got Brittany Sykes, and the Mystics got Alicia Clark, Zia Cook, who has since been waived, and a 2026 first-round pick. And the other one is one that my Lynx and the Wings made with Dejanay Carrington going to the Lynx for Diamond Miller, Carly Samuelson, and a second-round pick in 2027. Those are kind of the 3 major ones. Well, give each of you like a minute to share with me what your thoughts are on any of those trades. Are any of them going to be big for this year or going into the future? Taryn, why don't you start me out here? Which one do you think?
Well, I think the Lynx Mystics or the Lynx Wings trade is the trade that kind of piqued my interest, just because both teams are going in different directions. The Lynx are going in the direction of they're contending for a WNBA title, while the Wings are pretty much just in tank mode at this point, just because they have the second worst record in the league. But yeah, I found that trade pretty enticing. I feel the Lynx can definitely benefit from it. And then the Wings are obviously just trading away for the future. I just think that's kind of the tale of two different teams in that trade. And I'm glad that the Lynx actually made a move, just because if they're going to try to contend with the likes of New York, Atlanta, and Indiana once they get healthy, they gotta make some moves, gotta get some new key pieces to like help complement their current roster, and hope that will be able to be enough to win the WNBA championship.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I agree. I think, especially with Nafisa Collier injuring her ankle recently against the in that blowout win over the Aces, where she's going to be out a couple of weeks. I think they needed to add some more firepower. She's more of a defensive specialist. I thought it was kind of interesting that they gave up on Diamond Miller, though, who was the second overall pick just 2 seasons ago, after being drafted second after Aaliyah Boston. I kind of think that it's interesting that the Mystics made some more trades too, adding some more draft picks and things like that. So, how about you, Josh? Any differing opinion on any of that stuff?
I mean, it makes sense to pick that trade because you have a team that's actually at the top of the league, really, and they're trying to solidify their positioning. But from a standpoint of what's going to actually impact the playoff race, I would have to go with the Storm upgrading their offense with Brittany Sykes, because they're in that kind of not sure if they're going to make the playoffs position. And, that could be the thing that puts them into the playoffs and gives them that little extra offensive push to make a run when they get there. So as far as impacting the playoff race, I mean, clearly the Lynx are going to be in the playoffs, so I'm not necessarily sure how much that's going to impact their standings, but this could be the trade that really gets Seattle going in the second half of the season. So I would go with that as having the biggest impact on the playoff race.
All right. Yeah, that's a good point. Personally, and I had talked about this last week with Mike. I think it was on Mike's show, asking about the Lynx and it was Ricky's show. What am I thinking here? Yeah, I was talking with Ricky about the Lynx and what some of the challenges or potential Achilles heel is for the Lynx. And I thought it was, really, it's the length and size at the center position. However, you're not going to be able to trade for an Aaliyah Boston or Camila Cardosa or Brittany Griner or anybody like that. But so what can you do to really help solidify your rotation? And that's where I think it's a lot of the just adding additional players, getting better defensive pressure on the outside, I think will be helpful for the Lynx. So awesome. Thanks, guys. All right. So here's a little trivia question and a few parts to it. So what item has been thrown onto the court at
dildos?
Yeah.
The memes are awesome.
Okay. So another follow-up question to that. What do they have in common? And who has claimed responsibility?
Crypto.
There's a crypto company, right? And again, what do they all have in common?
They were thrown at Sophie Cunningham.
I don't know if it was necessarily at the same person, but they were all green in color.
They were green.
They're green in color, and because the crypto company is selling a crypto image or whatever that's called green dildo crypto, and the they released it the day before the first one was thrown, and since then it has tripled in value.
What?
Well, I've invested in crypto before. If you buy it, you might regret it later on.
Well, I don't. Thankfully, I don't do that.
Yeah, I
I
don't do that
anymore. I don't anymore. Let's just put it that way.
Okay.
But it was when, I mean, obviously we all obviously saw and heard about this. But so what are your thoughts on everybody's, or I guess the players' reaction to it? And I guess there's been releasing of some streaming stuff where people are making comments about it. I don't know if it's on Twitch or something like that, but just kind of making some kind of crude comments about the players, and hinting at the sexuality of the players, and just trying to harass the players in that respect.
I can't speak to that, but I will say I love the memes. The memes are hilarious. If you go on, actually, you'll find them anywhere. I saw one that was like oversized on the back of a semi truck, things like that. Like they're hilarious. So I mean, it's all in good fun, and the sexuality of the players of the NBA notwithstanding. I take it for the fact that it's a cheap marketing trick for a crypto company, which is kind of how they roll anyway. So I don't think it's too serious unless you make it too serious. So I'm just going to take it for that.
All right. How about you, Taryn? Anything else that you want to share about that?
Well, for starters, yeah, I did hear about that. I've seen it, and I did see some of the memes. I saw there was a way back meme where Kelsey Plum threw a T-shirt into the crowd, but instead of a crowd, it was a dildo. But look, I think at first it was pretty funny. We all had a little bit of a laugh, but then the second time I was like, okay, it happened again. And then the third time it's like, okay, now it's starting to get a little redundant and ridiculous. So, I mean, it's funny. We all like the memes and we all love a good laugh every now and then, but it just gets repetitive. And it even got to the point where Sophie Cunningham went on social media and said, "Stop throwing dildos onto the court." And then she quote tweeted that and said, "This didn't age well," or "This clearly didn't age well," which I found pretty funny.
It's kind of like crypto. It burns really hot, really fast, and then burns out really fast. So there you go.
There you go. Okay. Way to bring it full circle there with that comparison there, Josh. But to me, it just seems, like you mentioned, kind of sophomoric, right? The first couple of times, you're like, hey, it's kind of funny, and then, they do it again. It's like, okay, it's a person that tells the same joke, time after time after time. Did you hear how funny that was? Yeah. It's like, okay, yeah, maybe it's not quite so funny anymore. All right. Okay, so another question here for you. What significant thing happened in MLB regarding gender equity this week?
I hear about a woman referee.
Broadcast. There was an all-women broadcast for the Boston Red Sox.
Oh, I did not hear about that, but that's not what I was referring to.
I heard something about a woman referee, or woman umpire, or something like that.
That's correct. There was a female umpire that is now in the major leagues. Her name is Jen. Paulul. I'm trying to remember how to pronounce it.
I don't remember the name, but I remember seeing that story.
Yeah. So she's she had been Paul is how it's spelled, Pawol. But she had been a AAA umpire for a number of years, I guess, and just got brought up to the major league. So I think it's interesting that there's a female umpire. I know that there's been some players in AAA that have had some issues with her because of her gender. So it's going to be interesting to me to see how all of that plays out over the season when she's like behind the plate or makes a call that's a little bit close or kind of questionable. Are they going to or are players or managers, coaches going to make comments and second guess and argue more just because of her gender? I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens there. Anyway, I think it could happen. What do you guys think? Do you guys think that major league players are going to be above that?
I mean, they have umpires and refs in the NFL now, and line judges and things like that are female, and as long as they prove themselves quickly, it all fades to black, and it doesn't really matter. But yeah, she's early on. She's going to have to prove that does not phase her, and if she does, they'll respect her and they'll treat her like every other umpire. But she's going to have to go through that just like everybody does. Like anytime there's a new umpire in Major League Baseball, they test those guys because it's probably the most contentious with the referees of any sport, really. I mean, so it's just you gotta stay strong, and if you believe in what you decided, then you gotta stick with it.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, pretty much exactly what I was said. Josh pretty much took the words right out of my mouth. Like, there's now female referees and line judges and umpires and referees and line judges and whatnot. I think it's a great thing. I think once she gets her feet wet and once she fully gets her feet wet and she fully develops her sea legs, it's not going to be anything too mind-blowing. I think this is a great thing for women as well, women being in sport as well, and I think it's incredible that this happened. So I think this is a great move, and I don't think people are going to make too much of a big deal about it.
Oh, good. Yeah. And I agree. You guys bring up great points because there's female referees in the NBA. There's female line judges and things in the NFL. And if the NFL can have female officials, MLB should be able to have some female officials as well too, right? So
yes.
All right, cool. All right, well, let's take a quick break here. We're going to hear from some of our sponsors. We'll be back in just a couple of minutes. You're watching Fourth and Four here on IE Sports Radio, your Fourth and Fun here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
IE Sports Radio fans, this show is brought to you by Planet Jerky Premium Brisket Beef Jerky. Planet Jerky is the official jerky of the 2022 California League champion Lake Elsinore Storm, single A affiliate of the San Diego Padres. This all brisket jerky has gluten-free options, contains no MSG, no sodium nitrate, is low in sugar, and high in protein. Go to their website at planetjerky.net and follow them on Instagram at Planet Jerky. Planet Jerky, the jerky that's on a whole other planet.
Rise and shine. It's 4 a.m. The stars are still out. The sun is beneath the horizon, but it's time to punch in and go to work. The comfort of your warm-ups turns into the grinding out of your reps as the clinking and the clanking of the plates create a symphony of euphoria. There's no other feeling like it. Earn it, burn it, and take what's yours. IE Sports Radio has proudly partnered with Vital Apparel, a brand that not only fits great, but also promotes and donates to mental health research. Use our code IESR to get 15% off their comfortable and inspiring gym wear and help them on their amazing journey to support mental health. Go hard, take part in your iron therapy, and be strong. Because when your mental health is as strong as you are, there's no telling how far you'll go.
All right, welcome back to Fourth and Fun. Thanks for tuning in. Let's see here. I gotta remove that banner. All right, let's get back to our a little game show here with Josh Ritter and Taryn Rodriguez. So you guys are having a lot of fun, right? Answering a lot of questions, having some good discussions, right? That's always good. So let's do a little bit of some hot seat trivia. I got a few questions here, not a lot. So first of all, can you tell me which team added Emma Meesman and Steph Talbot to the roster to bolster their team for the playoff run? And will it help? Do you know who that is? Which team? Really? Wow. Okay, we gotta get a WNBA show going because
Davidson, I'm looking at you.
Yeah, there you go. The New York Liberty. They had recently added Emma Meesman, who
I'm sorry, Ricky.
Yeah. Anyway, okay. Let's how about this one? Which MLB pitcher is currently leading the league in strikeouts? You guys know?
It's not Shohei Ohtani, I'm guessing,
No.
right?
No.
I knew it.
Oh man, that's a tough one.
I feel I know this one.
I don't know.
I'll see if Brian was around, I know he'd be throwing out an answer.
I'm gonna say Clayton Kershaw.
No,
that was gonna be my guess.
No idea though.
Okay, I give up.
Let's think about Brian though. Okay.
Red Sox.
Oh, Brian. Oh, okay.
Yes.
I got you.
Dang it, dude.
Walker Buehler.
No.
Oh. I'm not going to keep guessing because now I'm just guessing.
Oh, it's Garrett Crochet.
Okay.
Yeah, he is has 183 strikeouts right now. Zach Wheeler is second with 182, and Tarek Skubal is third with 181. So all three of those would have been great guesses. I guess you got to think about guys that are really getting a lot of innings and a lot of strikeouts in those games. All right, let's go to another question here. Okay.
You really came up with some good questions here.
These are apparently, I was digging a little deep with some of the stuff. I was at a work conference all week until yesterday, and so kind of was kind of away from ESPN and all of those shows. But speaking of ESPN, this is more of a discussion type of question. So, what does the ESPN NFL what does that mean for the future of the NFL?
It's huge.
We'll see Stephen A. Smith just ruining something.
You know what it means for me is it's not so much that they own the red zone, which is sad because I have a feeling that we're going to start seeing ads on red zone. But for me, it's that the NFL has one of the ways I can't remember either the NFL or ESPN. I think the NFL has a 10% stake of ownership in Disney or vice versa.
Yes,
one of those two. But they're in bed with each other now. So you're not going to see any hard-hitting reporting on the NFL about ESPN anymore because they're in bed with each other. So what impact will that have on how ESPN covers the NFL? And I will say, ESPN also owns hockey or has the rights to hockey. And I was really looking forward to ESPN expanding their hockey coverage, but I have a feeling this is just going to make it the NFL, the ESPN, the NFL all the time. Which, I mean, I love the NFL; it's my favorite sport. But I'm concerned that the ESPN is just going to become an arm of the NFL at that point, and they're going to kind of ignore all the other sports, which could be a negative. But It's huge for the NFL. The salary cap's going to go through the roof with all the money coming in.
Yeah, that you make a great point there. I personally, I like the fact that I like watching the NFL Network. Like I like watching, and I like watching, what's going to happen with him. Like he left ESPN eons ago, and now the deal doesn't take effect for this season, but it's going to be for the future. Like what's going to happen? Are they still going to do the run at the NFL draft? Is he going to want to stay part of that organization? I don't know if if there's any bad blood when he left ESPN to go to the NFL Network when that started up. But again, like there's some guys on the NFL Network that I really enjoy watching. Tom Pelissero is one, and he's a Minnesota guy, so really like him.
I have a question for Taryn. Actually, Taryn, do you think, because I know the NFL's kind of like hub is right by SoFi, do you think they're going to stay there, or are they going to move out to Bristol?
It's a great question. That's actually a really good question. I actually don't know the answer to that. I imagine it might actually be the case. I think they could stay, but not entirely certain. But what I kind of want to swing on this whole, what does this ESPN NFL deal mean? I mean, ESPN does televise the NFL draft, so I kind of feel that kind of was a little bit of the deal was kind of coming to ESPN. And then they also host Monday Night Football, and then they televise one of the wild card games, whether it's the Monday night game or the divisional round game. So I think the ESPN was kind of got the hook and line when it came to this. All they just needed was the sinker and the deal to be made, and then they were to basically have red zone and whatnot. So I, like Josh said, revenue is big just because the NFL is big market and whatnot, and NFL is king. And with it being with ESPN, it will have some drawbacks. I mean, depending on what people's perspective is, but I think this is definitely going to be something that brings in the money and whatnot. But again, you got to wonder, will we be seeing like Adam Rank and his predictions being televised on ESPN, and how he predicts the San Francisco 49ers to go 3-14? Will we also see more fantasy football and whatnot? So on and so forth. So those things could also come into play more. And will we see more NFL like shows? Like, will we see like I just mentioned, will we see a fantasy football show and whatnot? So that's something you got to throw into the fray too.
Yeah. Well, and that's, I guess what I'm a little cautious or leery of is, what does it mean for the everyday fan? Like, the red zone, like, is the, price going to go up? Are any of those things going to be more expensive and harder to have? Like you mentioned, fantasy football, they've already talked that those two are going to be merging.
Yeah.
And so that's great, but is the NFL Network station going to be there anymore? I'm guessing probably not. I'm guessing they're probably going to streamline everything to the ESPN platforms, but
or they make NFL Network on of ESPN. So who knows?
What?
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, I don't want to go off, on this for too long, I guess, but there are definitely some questions for me personally as to how it's going to impact the average fan and what it's going to look like next year. I'm really intrigued to see what ends up happening there. So
I will say one more thing.
I gotta give. Oh yeah, go ahead.
I'm gonna say, I am an out of town fan, as you guys know. So I pay for the YouTube right now for the Sunday ticket to be able to watch my Dolphins games. And I just got charged 2 days ago for that. It was over $500 for the season. So I can't imagine how much they're going to be able to increase it just because it's already so expensive. Like only real hardcore fans like me are going to pay that. and only people that are out of town. So like, if you go too much higher, you're just not going to get anybody but the most hardcore fans that pay for that. Cause like I pay for the NHL one too, and it's like a third of the price. So they can only go up so much more. Hopefully they don't try to push it too much, because I would hate to have to make that decision.
Well, first of all, I got to do this because you make a great point there, because of we all know cash is king when it comes to the NFL, and the NFL. That's part of what I'm a little leery of is at what point, what's the tipping point for most fans? When I think about the Twins, okay, Minnesota Twins TV deal has been like non-existent for the regular fan for a couple of years now, because they had it was Fox Sports North and became Bally Sports North, and then something else, and there was a bankruptcy and all of those TV deals, and then it couldn't be on cable because they couldn't reach a deal. And I worry about them saying, well, we'll just keep raising the price because people are going to pay it. It's the NFL. They're not going to want to miss their NFL games. And that's where I could see, Josh will have to start a GoFundMe for you if it goes up any higher, because again, if they can, they'll get they'll go after every single penny that they can. And that's just kind of the way, big business works and the NFL works, because players are going to keep, owners are going to want more money. Players want more money. Everybody wants more money. But again, there's got to be a tipping point at some point, don't you think?
Yeah, absolutely.
And this kind of makes me wonder if everything go on ESPN Plus, and could CBS and Fox possibly get eventually shafted fully? I mean, that's looking too far down the road, but I imagine CBS and Fox will still have some games, and NBC will still have Sunday Night Football, but that's also kind of a striking point as well.
Well, yeah, I mean, sometimes the availability on your local stations has always been a point in the home markets. Like, you could always, in your home market, in the home market of the team, could always get the Vikings game, Dolphins game, right, Chargers, Rams, Kansas City. But when everything is moving to more cable outlets, like when they went to the ESPN for Monday Night Football, going to Amazon Prime for a Thanksgiving game, and they're going to be having more of those, right? I mean, that's another way for the NFL to collect more revenue, but not everybody has Amazon Prime. Not everybody has ESPN. Some people just have their basic TV.
Yeah, they had. I think it was the Dolphins Chiefs game, that one that was like a negative 25-degree game. That was on,
that was the wild card around a couple of years.
That was on, I believe, Peacock, and I had to buy it to watch my playoff game. I didn't have it, and I had to purchase a year's worth of that to be able to watch my playoff game. But it is what it is. You got to do it. But yeah, they're gonna squeeze every penny they can out of it.
Yep.
Yeah, and again, it just some of that stuff just kind of drives me nuts with kind of the way that they go with some of those things too. So so I don't have a little banner for this one yet, but I just wanted to throw this out there. So with Shedeur Sanders, is there starting the Browns preseason game this week? Should we read anything into that as to what's going to end up happening for the regular season as far as who's going to be the starter?
Aaron, you go first.
Well, here's the thing. I mean, the quarterback room for the Browns is intriguing. It's looking like it could be Joe Flacco leading the charge, but then you've also got other QBs like Kenny Pickett, who I think is a little dinged up. And then you've got, I forget his first, it's something Gabriel. Josh, you're the
Dylan.
Oregon.
Dylan Gabriel.
Yeah, Dylan Gabriel. Thank you. And then you've got Shedeur Saunders and so on and so forth. So I think we can kind of look into this. I mean, if Shedeur does put on a little bit of a good showing in preseason, because that's what it truly matters in the NFL, player development and whatnot. And then if Joe Flacco kind of falls off a bit, maybe Shedeur Saunders could come for that starting QB position. But for right now, I think it's just let's wait and see. Let's evaluate it, and that's probably the most exciting time for if you're a Browns fan, to see which quarterback is probably going to be the best of the worst.
The great point, and I don't know if you noticed or heard, but they also just signed Tyler Huntley as well to be a quarterback.
Snoop Huntley, yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, okay, so Josh, how about you? Do you have any initial thoughts on that?
Scoop Huntley was a Dolphin last year. Let me tell you, there's not
remember.
much there. So good luck with that. But no, this is absolutely, you should be reading 1,000% into this. They were always going to start Shedeur Sanders in week 1. This is the most dysfunctional franchise in the history of football. And for them to have drafted Dylan Gabriel early in the draft and then pick Shedeur Sanders later, knowing full well, unless they're completely idiotic and don't understand how NFL politics works, that their fan base is going to want Shedeur Sanders. There's going to be a whole brigade of Deion Sanders faithful that are going to be clamoring for Shedeur Sanders the first time Dylan Gabriel does anything wrong, period. So the fact that they're ahead of schedule on this, because I figured they'd at least give it a couple weeks before they named Shedeur a starter, they clearly realized they're going to have to start this kid anyway, because the pressure's going to be too big. Dylan Gabriel, I mean, he was a Duck for a while. He's a solid quarterback, but he's not flashy, and the fans just aren't going to put up with that. So the problem that they made was if they wanted to draft Shedeur, they shouldn't have drafted Dylan. They should have drafted Shedeur in the first place. And this is a mess. And that's not even to speak for whatever happens this year. They got Deshaun Watson coming back next year, and they got to figure that out because they've given him all the money in the world. So I don't understand what they're trying to do at quarterback. I don't think Shedeur Sanders is going to be a great quarterback. Maybe they just want to let him show that early in the season so they can pull the plug on him. I don't know, but like it's a mess in Cleveland. But he'll absolutely be starting week 1.
That list of quarterbacks is about to get even longer.
Yeah, it's you hit the nail on the head there, Josh. Because I was just thinking about it too. Like, if you've got Joe Flacco, who I think most analysts have said is probably in line to be the starter, but week 1, but who knows? But if he is, do you go with rookies as their 2 and 3 quarterbacks and release Kenny Pickett? Or do you want to have a more experienced backup in Kenny Pickett and then have 4 quarterbacks on the roster? Because you can't waive any of them to try and hope that they get to the practice squad, because you wouldn't do that with a 3rd-round pick. And a 5th-round, Shedeur Sanders will get claimed by somebody that's a quarterback-needy team out there.
Here's your hot take. Your quarterbacks right before week 1 for the Cleveland Browns, okay? It's Shedeur Sanders starter, Dylan Gabriel's backup, and Snoop Huntley is your 3rd string. Joe Flacco's strictly there to be a mentor in camp. I don't think they're going to bring him into the season at all. I think that the Browns see the handwriting on the wall. They're fine tanking, and Joe Flacco might actually accidentally win a couple games. I don't think that they want that. So I don't think any of these vets are going to be on the roster. I think it's just going to be a bunch of young dudes, and they're just going to let them fail, basically, and then move into next year and see what happens with Deshaun.
Interesting hot take. I like it.
Yeah, I like that too. All right. That's interesting. So they would sign both Flacco and Pickett in the offseason. Now Pickett is banged up, like you mentioned, Taryn. But I don't know that he's injured enough that he'd be actually on the on
pup list.
on the pup list or go on injured reserve or anything like that. The what I was seeing is that they were going to probably hang on to him and wait until another quarterback gets hurt. Maybe Anthony Richardson. I don't know if you saw that hit to start the game on that very first drive when just got wrecked.
Just a finger, though. I think we'll be all right.
Yeah, well,
Yep.
but I mean that was it's not a big injury, but to me that just showed I just don't have a lot of faith in Anthony Richardson's ability to stay healthy. And when he can't, see and analyze in a preseason game that and I know that Big Mike mentioned in the chat before the show that the running back kind of blew that blocking assignment, which I didn't necessarily see the running back or where he was. But as a quarterback, you're in your third year, you got to be able to recognize that guy's coming and make sure he's blocked or get rid of the ball. But he didn't even look at him. He just snapped, looked straight to the left, and got hit from the right. And he's not going to be playing a lot of games when you're taking shots like that. He's got all the athletic ability in the world.
Yeah, that's what it is. His whole career since college, he's been relying 100% on his athletic ability. There's no perceivable ability to read a defense or make an accurate anticipatory throw at all, and it limits you as a team. When teams know that, they're gonna force you to read coverages and throw, and it's not gonna go well for Anthony Richardson, unfortunately. I think Big Mike knows that.
Yeah, unfortunately, and that's again, he was not a prospect that I was very high on coming out for those reasons. His 1 year in Florida, he really put up some big numbers, but it was a lot of athletic ability. He could throw the ball, 80 yards. He could run super fast. He is 250 pounds. I mean, just a physical specimen, but never really had to rely on his ability to read a defense or audible or just think through just because he didn't have enough experience, didn't play enough games. He only started a dozen games before he left college. I mean, he had a great season, but there's something that can be said for playing 3 and 4 years at a university as a starter. Look at Bo Nix. I mean, when you think about it, right? Sorry, I'm supposed to be asking you guys questions and not.
But
you're right, though. I mean, in college, there's a perceptible difference between the top athletic players and the guys that just aren't as athletic. And when you put someone like that athletic in that position, he's gonna make plays in college. But the problem is when you get to the pros, it's not just about your athleticism because everybody's a freak. So you have to be able to overcome the small differences in athleticism with knowledge and anticipation. And his athleticism just got mitigated. And you look at someone like Lamar Jackson, he had all those same athletic traits, but he also understood the game. And so he could make throws downfield. Is he the best passer in the league accuracy-wise? No, but he knew how to read a defense. He works hard at it. I don't get the sense that Anthony Richardson does that. And you have a list of people, Jamarcus Russell,
Ryan Leaf.
Ryan Leaf, Jeff George, of guys that just relied on their athleticism and their big arms or whatever it is. And you get to the NFL and it's overwhelming if you aren't paying attention. So it's a different sport than it is in college.
Yeah, I agree completely. And I know this is going to be a hugely unpopular take, but I kind of felt the same way about Michael Vick. Michael Vick had all of the athletic ability in the world. Okay. He could throw a bullet 80 yards. He could throw 110-mile-an-hour fastball down the field. The problem was he did that same pass on a little swing route to the running back. He would chuck it at about 80 miles an hour to the running back, and it's like, come on.
You're
not
half right. You're half right. The Atlanta Mike Vick you're 100% right. But when he came back to the NFL after being in prison, and he was the Philadelphia Eagles version of Michael Vick, he matured and actually started being a mature NFL quarterback. Now, he was already older, so it was harder for him to make it in the long term. But those couple seasons he had in Philly, he was a legitimate NFL quarterback.
Okay, yeah, I'll give you that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but I anyway, that's just, I just thought his whole career, the majority of his career was a little on the overrated side. But again, that was me. All right, let's take one last little quick break. Do a hear from our sponsors real quick, and we'll be right back. You're watching Fourth and Fun here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is.
Hey there, IE Sports Radio fans. Be sure to check out our sponsor, Seal the Deal Wax Seals by Cecilia B. You just finished your very own wedding or baby shower invitations and you're looking for that extra special touch? Maybe you just wrote a letter to a relative or a friend and you want to add to their smile when they receive it. Then seal the deal with Cecilia's handmade sealing wax stamps for your invitations, letters, and gifts. You bring the deal, we'll bring the seal. You can find them on Instagram at sealthedeal_wax stamps and on Facebook, Seal the Deal Wax Seals.
For the last 10 years, IE Sports Radio has been bringing you amazing content ranging from interviewing legendary athletes, coaches, and other authorized media personnel to building tailor-made shows dedicated to all major sports cities around the country. Make sure to follow us at IE Sports Radio on X, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube to keep up with the latest in sports and with all of our shows. Also, make sure to check out our daily updated website at iesportsradio.com. At iesportsradio.com, you can see our daily show schedule and check out all of our show pages with personal bios to learn a little bit more about each of our awesome hosts. In addition to our show pages, you can catch the IE Sports Radio blog, Hall of Fame, Fans of the Month page, and our merchandise shop, including t-shirts, tank tops, caps, long sleeves, hoodies, and more. For now over a decade here at IE Sports Radio, we've continued to be by the fans, for the fans, and we thank you all for your support and for making IE Sports Radio your direct feed for all that is sports.
All right, welcome back to Fourth and Fun here. I'm again your host, Glen Ritter, and joined by Josh Ritter, my brother from another mother, apparently, and Taryn Rodriguez. All right, thanks, guys. All right, so I got one last little question for you guys. It's my final challenge. All right, so if you could script one kind of under the radar sports headline for the next week, what would it be? Take about just take a second, think about it. Give each of you a minute to share what you think, what that would be, and yeah, just tell me a little bit about it, what your thoughts are.
I'll give you some more time to think, Tara, and I've got one. So
Okay.
there's some rumors out there. I'm going to keep going to this well until I get it right. This is the third show that I've made an NBA trade rumor that has not happened. But there's a rumor out there that Trae Young is on the trade block. And if I'm a contender, specifically in the West, because there's a huge arms race in the West right now, I'm looking at him and saying that's a guy that needs a fresh start somewhere. He's kind of become stale in Atlanta, and that's kind of where Atlanta is as a NBA franchise. If I'm any of those teams in the West that's trying to make a difference, I'm looking at that seriously and saying, is this a guy that we can go out and get? I'd love to see him dealt somewhere. Of course, it would be fun to see him on the Suns. I'm not sure he fits, but but there's a lot of teams out there that could use someone like Trae Young, who's can score in bunches, has range, and can stretch a defense. So I'm gonna say Trae Young finds a way to get traded next week and tips the balance in the West.
Ooh, interesting. I like the idea of that. Especially as a Timberwolves fan who kind of needs a better than Mike Conley to be the starter. So that's interesting. All right. Taryn, do you have anything for me?
Yeah, and I'm probably gonna lean toward my court being volleyball. Probably more info about why the VLA or not the VLA, the PVF, the Pro Volleyball Federation, merged with the Major League Volleyball, even though Major League Volleyball or the MLV hasn't even played not only a single season, but not only a single match, but had anything MLV related. But now it's just under like a new. I think it would just be more information about why we got that instead of just this whole, oh, the MLV had $100 million in the bank. Meanwhile, PVF has over 300 million. So I just need more context in regards to that, just because free agency just started today and whatnot. So I need more details and whatnot, and maybe a little sit down with the CEO of the MLV and the PVF and whatnot. So I just want more context on that little sports headline, and sports news nugget and whatnot.
Awesome. Okay. Yeah, you'll definitely have to keep me in the loop about that, because I would that sounds very, very intriguing. So awesome. All right. Well, those are both great headlines and great ideas, something that can be taking place over the next week. But let's see here. We got to the end of the show. Got to pick a winner, and the winner is Taryn Rodriguez. Yeah, yep. You knocked off the champ. Yeah, and they said it couldn't be done.
Wow.
No, you had some great insight. I think bringing in the volleyball things is definitely huge. So anyway, let's again, thanks for both of you guys. Thanks so much for being here. Tell everybody again where they can find you, what shows are you on, and how can they listen to your opinions? Let's go with the winner first. Go ahead, Taryn.
So you can follow me once again on X, formerly known as Twitter, at Taryn Rodriguez1. You could also follow all the SoCal things happening with IE Sports Radio at IESR_SoCal. And you can also follow my volleyball things on X, formerly known as Twitter, at set_point.IE, and on Instagram at set_point.IESR. And that PVF MLV thing, this is pro volleyball in North America. So who knows? Maybe we'll get like a pro volleyball team in Minnesota soon. Fingers crossed.
That would be fantastic. Volleyball here in Minnesota is fantastic. I know that I follow the Gophers And a lot of the Gophers players and alumni have been playing on a lot of those U19, U21, U23, USA teams that have all won gold over the last couple of weeks. And everybody's kind of going nuts, especially Stella Swenson, setter for the Gophers. She's a redshirt freshman, younger sister of Samantha Seliger Swenson. You know that name from following Gopher volleyball. She was a setter a number of years ago. For the Gophers, and was an All-American pretty much all 4 years. So, all right. So yeah, we definitely got to chat some more on Set Point too. So I definitely need to be on your show once the volleyball season starts here in Minnesota.
Oh yeah.
All right. How about you, Josh? How can everybody get a hold of you?
All right, so I'll be on tomorrow night with Ricky K. We're going to be co-hosting for a few weeks on the weekend preview show, so catch me there. If you want to follow me on social media, you can find me at JoshRitter13 on X and Josh.Ritter57 on TikTok. All of my videos for IE Sports Radio are going to be on both platforms, so if you want to know anything about any of my teams, that's where you can find it.
Awesome. Thanks again for joining me, guys. And again, my name's Glen Ritter. You can find me on X at Minnesota IESR or Gritter13 on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it. Minnesota Insider, and obviously host of the 4th and 4. Have a great week, everybody. We will see you next week. Stay alive, stay informed, have some fun. See you next time. Thanks, everyone.
Peace.
Thank you.